In the chaos of World War II, amidst the clash of nations and ideologies, some of the most incredible human stories unfolded, often hidden from the history books. This is one of those stories, a tale of duty, love, and betrayal, centered on a Black American soldier and the German woman he was sent to spy on. Our story begins in 1944. The war in Europe is raging, and Allied forces are pushing deep into enemy territory. Among them is a young, intelligent African-American soldier named William. Due to his sharp mind and fluency in German, he's recruited by the Office of Strategic Services, the OSS, which was the forerunner to the CIA. William's background was unique. Back home, he faced the harsh realities of racial segregation, even in the military. Yet, here he was, entrusted with a mission of critical importance, to go undercover in a small German town and gather intelligence. His specific target was a woman named Ilara. She was a charismatic and well-connected local figure, known for hosting gatherings that attracted high-ranking German officers. Allied intelligence suspected she was more than just a socialite. They believed she was a key node in a network of spies, funneling information to the German high command. William's job was to get close to her, earn her trust, and expose her operation. He was given a new identity. A cover story as a disillusioned deserter, sympathetic to the German cause. It was a dangerous game. One wrong move, one slip of the tongue, and his life would be over. Posing as a man on the run, William made his way to the town where Ilara lived. He was a black man in Nazi Germany, a reality that was perilous in itself. But his cover story was designed to play on the German propaganda of the time, which often highlighted racial tensions in America. He presented himself as someone who'd seen the hypocrisy of fighting for a country that treated him as a second-class citizen. This narrative, combined with his charisma and genuine German fluency, was his shield. He first encountered Ilara at a local cafe. She was exactly as described, elegant, confident, and with an air of intelligence that was both captivating and intimidating. He struck up a conversation, carefully weaving his fabricated backstory into their talk. To his surprise, she didn't dismiss him. Instead, she seemed intrigued by his story, by this man who defied all her expectations. She saw him not just as a pawn, but as a person with a complex history. Over the next few weeks, William became a regular at her social gatherings. He played his part perfectly, listening intently, gathering whispers of military movements, and noting the faces of influential officers who frequented her home. He reported everything back to his handlers through a series of dead drops and coded messages. The mission was a success. He was providing valuable intelligence that was helping the Allied war effort. But something else was happening, something he hadn't prepared for. He was getting to know Ilara. Beyond the facade of the cunning spy, he discovered a woman of depth and passion. They would talk for hours, not about the war, but about art, music, and philosophy. She was witty and had a sharp sense of humor. He found himself genuinely enjoying her company, looking forward to their conversations more than he should. He saw in her a spark of defiance, a weariness with the regime she served, even as she played her part within it. And Ilara, in turn, saw something in William. She saw a man of principle and courage, trapped between two worlds. She was drawn to his intellect and his quiet strength. The lines of their mission began to blur. The spy and the soldier started to see each other as simply a man and a woman, finding a strange and dangerous connection in the heart of a world at war. The inevitable happened. They fell in love. Their secret meetings became less about exchanging information and more about stealing moments for themselves. In a hidden attic or secluded forest clearing, they would let their guards down. For William, this was a catastrophic complication. His duty was clear: expose Ilara and her network. But his heart was telling him something entirely different. He was in love with his target. He was torn. Every piece of intelligence he gathered felt like a betrayal. He knew that the information he was providing was leading to the downfall of people she cared about, and ultimately would lead to her own capture or death. The weight of this double life became immense. He was betraying his country by protecting her, and he was betraying her by spying on her. There was no right answer, no easy way out. One evening, Ilara confronted him. She had grown suspicious. Small inconsistencies in his stories, a look in his eye she couldn't quite place. She laid a pistol on the table between them and asked him directly who he was. This was the moment of truth. William could have continued the lie, but looking into her eyes, he couldn't. He confessed everything. He told her he was an American soldier, that his mission was to expose her, and that he had fallen completely in love with her. He expected anger, betrayal, maybe even a bullet. Instead, Alara was silent for a long time. Then, she confessed her own truth. She wasn't a fervent believer in the Nazi cause. She was a pragmatist, a survivor who had used her position to protect her family and herself. She, too, had fallen in love with him, despite knowing, on some level, that he was not who he seemed. Their love was real, born in a world of lies. Now they faced an impossible choice. The war was nearing its end, and the Allied forces were closing in on the town. Capture for Alara was imminent. William knew that as a German spy, she would likely face execution. He couldn't let that happen. In a final act of love and defiance, he decided to abandon his mission. His new mission was to save her. Using his knowledge of the Allied advance and his OSS connections, he devised a desperate plan. He would create a new identity for her, fabricate documents, and use the chaos of the collapsing front lines to smuggle her to safety in neutral Switzerland. It was an incredibly risky gambit. If caught, he would be court-martialed for treason, and she would face a firing squad. The night of their escape was pure chaos. Artillery shells lit up the sky as they navigated through war-torn landscapes, dodging patrols from both sides. They relied on their wits, their courage, and the slim hope that their love could somehow conquer the forces of war that had brought them together and now threatened to tear them apart forever. After a grueling journey, they made it across the border. They were free, but their future was uncertain. William was now a deserter, a man without a country. Alara was in exile, a woman without a past. All they had was each other. They settled in a small, quiet village, hoping to leave the war and their former lives behind them. But the past has a way of catching up. Years later, a former OSS colleague tracked William down. The war was long over, and the world was trying to heal. Instead of arresting him, the agent delivered a surprising message. William's early intelligence had been so valuable that his later desertion had been quietly swept under the rug. He was unofficially pardoned, but with a condition. He could never return to the United States. And so, William and Alara lived out the rest of their days together in Europe. Their story was never officially recorded. It exists only in whispered accounts and faded letters, a testament to a love that defied nations, duty, and war itself. It's a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human heart follows its own compass, sometimes leading us down the most unexpected and extraordinary paths. Theirs is a story of espionage and secrets, but at its core, it's a story about the enduring power of love in a world determined to destroy it. Thank you for watching. If you found this hidden story from history as fascinating as I did, please like this video and subscribe for more untold tales. See you next time.